soldier, a strategist, and a leader who has turned challenges into lessons. Colonel Satish Kekre.
To learn the art of being self contained for at least 72 hours. So, that self disciplining, the disciplining part as a soldier.
What stands out most to me is your portrayal of leadership, not as a flawless formula, but something that emerges through uncertainty and perseverance.
Adhering to cybersecurity is of utmost importance. That is what a lesson which can be drawn from a military parallel to the corporate world.
Hi everyone, welcome back to FaceTime with Leaders, powered by Directors Institute World Council of Directors. Today's episode is special because we're not just talking about business or boardrooms, we're talking about something much bigger. How leadership forged on the front lines of the nation translates into resilience, governance, and purpose in today's corporate world. Our guest is someone who has lived that journey. A decorated veteran of the Indian Army, he has served in insurgency affected regions, trained thousands of soldiers in air defense, led information warfare courses for senior officers, and even today continues to shape the future through research as he pursues his PhD in defense and strategic studies. But he didn't just stop there. Post retirement, he turned entrepreneur, running his own successful security agency, serving major PSUs, while bringing his deep expertise in HR, governance, and strategic leadership to the corporate space. Please join me in welcoming Colonel Satish Kekre, a soldier, a strategist, an academic, and a leader who has turned challenges into lessons for all of us. Colonel Kekre, it's truly an honor to have you with us today.
Thank you, Charu. Thank you so much for the edu. And it is, in fact, very nice to be here on the interview with you.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to hearing about your journey, sir. So let's
Yeah.
get started. Colonel Kekre, before the PhDs and the entrepreneurship, there was a young officer walking through the gates of the Officers Training Academy back in 1991. Could you take us back to that moment? What did those early years look like? And how did they set the tone for everything that came later?
Okay, Charu. That's a very interesting question that you have posed. And I am keen to tell you about my exploits in those days. I was
Yes.
a college student, a university student. Doing my first, I did my graduation in electronic instrumentation and then my post graduation in statistics. But I
Okay.
was always headed for this Indian Armed Forces. In my heart and minds, I always had a
Correct.
passion that I would once join the Indian Army. So while I was doing my PG, I appeared for the CDS exam.
Okay.
That's quite a competitive exam. It is a UPSC conducted exam, and
Okay.
I the CDS and thereafter the SSB I cracked it in my first attempt, and I was happy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was on the ninth cloud that I have got through in the OTA, and one day I am going to report there.
Right.
So the day came when I reported to the OTA, and with all my passion, as I entered the gate of OTA, my seniors caught hold of me and my colleagues who had joined me, and they then tested our resilience by making us do about 50 push-ups at a stretch,
Oh,
and
wow.
that was the first step into the OTA, and then the grueling training which went on throughout the day and at times during the nights because the seniors won't leave us even after the dinner. And then in between, we had to do our studies also because as army
Right.
officers, there are quite a few people who think that people join the army to leave studies.
Deep
But
studies. Right.
but that is a misnomer, Charu.
Right.
Because
Right.
what happens is once you join the army, you have to always keep updated.
Right.
about your equipment, about your leadership traits, about
Agreed.
various training aspects,
Right.
because you got to be an idol for your men,
Right.
and you
Right.
got to lead from the front. That is the ethos of Indian Army. So,
Agreed.
to achieve that, to attain that level at the OTA, we go through a very grueling sort of routine. And
Right.
see, I'll give you a glimpse of it. Morning by about 5:45, we are up and about, going for the PT and going for the drill. And for the next two periods, say about 80 minutes or so, we are totally worn out. And
Wow.
thereafter about half or 20 minutes for the breakfast, and back again to the classes of
Right.
training classes of equipment, and again drill on the equipment, and thereafter the academic part. So by the
Part.
time you are in the academic classes, you are almost asleep, you know,
Agreed. Right.
because you are worn out totally. And
Right.
despite that, when you come back from lunch, again you have certain commitments for games and hobby classes, so you can't have a relaxing time for a longer period. So
Right.
there we learn the art of sleeping while keeping your eyes wide open, you know.
Wow.
So that is the way it is. And in the evening, we used to have study
Mm,
classes before dinner. So
right.
the DSS, that is the directing staff or our instructors, they used to
Mm-hmm.
come on rounds. Even the seniors used to come on rounds and ensure that we study properly and
Right.
do our
Right.
academics. But half the time, Charu, because of the hectic day,
They
most of us used to be asleep at the table.
asleep.
So, recouping and re-energizing, to go for dinner. And
Right.
once you had your dinner, then we were at the disposal of the seniors till the time they felt it appropriate to leave us. And the next day morning again the same
The
similar
whole
going
cycle.
through. Yeah, yeah. And then in between there were periods of exercises. Say 24, to start with, it was a 24-hour exercise. Thereafter 36 hours exercise. Thereafter the 72 hours exercise. And throughout the exercise we had to be self-contained. So we had
Right.
to learn the art of being self-contained for at least 72 hours. So that self-disciplining, the disciplining part as a soldier,
Right.
so that is how one could become an ideal for the troops or
Right.
the
Right.
employees down below.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed.
that is the beauty of the OTA, that they turn you into a gentleman as well as a fiercely fighting uh, element, you know.
Wow. Wow. Wonderful. So, did you have any break days in between while you were
Yeah, we did
having?
have break days. Like we had midterm breaks for about 2 to 3 days.
Okay.
And that was the only respite that we got. And we used to catch up on all the lost sleep, you know.
Absolutely. I mean, makes sense.
Yeah. So that was that. And I realized that the armed forces over these years, after having come out of the OTA and joined the unit, I realized that this is one such wonderful organization, uh, non-comparable, and which teaches you such a lot regarding
Absolutely.
everything you can say.
Right.
We are taught about law, we are taught about equipment, we are taught about technology, we are taught about accounts,
Right.
and then we are groomed on hobbies. Like I used to be a part of shooting club. There
Okay.
were cadets. There were cadets who were part of riding club, and
Wow.
yeah, and swimming, or say you can say canoeing or sailing club.
Okay.
So there was a plethora of avenues which were available to us
Right.
during the
Right.
training.
Right.
Yeah. So it was really now as I look back, it was an adventurous journey in the OTA, which
Right.
turned me from a civilian student to an officer.
Right.
Okay, Indian Army officer, a proud officer to be part of this grand organization.
And we are honored to have you, protecting our sidelines, sir. Thank you so much for your
Yeah,
service.
you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah.
And thank you for sharing such profound reflection of your journey. What I deeply admire is how you conveyed that journey was not solely defined by medals and disciplines, but also challenges and
Yeah.
unwavering resilience that shaped your character. So,
Yes,
thank you for
yes,
sharing
yes.
that with us.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Colonel Kekre, your career arc is remarkable. From frontline defense to training 1800 recruits, from teaching information warfare to running your own security enterprise. Let's dig into defining lessons behind this journey. You've served in insurgency hit regions where uncertainty was the only constant. So, if you had to pinpoint one mission or moment that completely changed the way you looked at leadership, what would that be and why?
Nice question, Charu. Quite interesting. I would love to answer that. In fact, one of the missions which even till date is very close to me is a mission where I got an information as a company commander. I got an information regarding one of the anti-national elements, or or you can call nowadays a
Terrorist.
terrorist who was a self-proclaimed battalion commander of one of the terrorist
Oh.
organizations.
Mhm.
So I got an input from the area where I was operating in the valley that this guy is likely to visit one of his friends in the nearby villages.
Okay.
So the way we planned the mission, the way I had my teams gathered, I had the intelligence gathering. See, the main parts of the entire mission were that first
Right.
I had to gather the intelligence.
Agreed.
So for that int gathering, I had to put in one of my teams of 8 members into place,
Mm-hmm.
very confidentially, so that they could operate. They could go to the nearby village, and nobody would come to know that they have come from my place or my place
Right.
of operation, so
Right.
that the
Right.
thing remains secret. So I operated for good about 15 to 20 days gathering the intelligence about the individual.
Okay.
And my team did a wonderful job. And kudos to them that they gathered in and properly they zeroed on to the timings and date and timing as to when this guy was going to appear there, and the mode of transport also by which from which village he was going to come and land here to meet his friend.
Right.
His actually it was his
Right.
girlfriend that he wanted to meet. So that was the interesting part. So even
Right.
those terrorists, they do have their girlfriends, okay. So we banked upon that input,
Mm-hmm.
and the moment we came to know about the day, the time, the mode of transport, and the place where he was to land,
Right.
we apprehended his friend very clandestine, and we told him from behind that he should tell the diaspora there that he is going out of station for a while.
Okay.
So we brought him with us. We kept him with us. We fed him properly.
Right.
We kept him in good humor, but
Mm-hmm.
always kept him under vigilance.
Right.
And the day when the thing was to be done,
Mm-hmm.
so we had to cordon the village where the guy was to come.
Right.
And so I again had 3 teams doing the job. One was the cordon team, which cordoned the entire village. One was the team which would keep an eye on the bus and the bus stand.
Right. Right.
And one was the team which would apprehend the individual,
Right.
the terrorist. So
Mm-hmm.
I was with my senior JCO, or you can say the Subedar Saab,
Okay.
uh, along with him and 2 gunmen. I was ready to apprehend this guy, and
Right.
the teams were in place. But before that, let me tell you, the interesting part was that since it was not my area of operation,
Mm-hmm.
so I had to keep it was there was a fear that the input and the information may leak out.
Leak out.
So to avoid that, we used to, I started visiting in civil clothes and with a local appearance, like local
Right.
uh, dressing. Okay.
Right.
Uh, and go to the village, meet the sarpanch, meet the teacher, meet the school teachers, the principal,
Right.
and meet various people around, meet the Maulvi, and
Agreed.
find out as to what is the layout of the village.
Village. Right.
Why? Because even a small mistake
Yes.
in that adverse terrain, it is a mountainous terrain. It is
Agreed.
very
Agreed.
harsh.
Right.
And except for a few months, 2 to 3 months in summers, rest of the time it is quite chill. Yeah. So from that point of view, and for the endurance of the men, because if we had to cordon, we had to reach early in the morning by about
Right.
4:30, even
Right.
before there is some harkat by any
In
of
the
the guys
village.
in the
Right. Right.
because they go out for their daily routine. So
Right.
we had to cordon the village before that. And so we had to start from my place of operation somewhere around 2 o'clock in the night. So we
Right.
had to prepare that. And with that input and with the informer uh, uh, firmly in my hand, we
Right.
all we all went ahead with the operation and with masks and all. And
Okay.
yeah, bulletproof patkas, all our guns is ready.
Wow.
We went there. And finally, as the informer had told us, it was really scary, because that guy was carrying his AK-47 fully loaded,
Oh.
and inside his coat's pockets, inner pockets, he was carrying live hand grenades. So,
Oh.
yeah, it was quite scary, and I was always keeping a vigil on my boys that there should be no casualty.
Casualties.
Suddenly,
Right.
if somebody raises an alarm and people come to know, and because quite a few people are pro terrorist at that point
Right.
of time, they were.
Right.
So the moment they sense that somebody is going to apprehend a guy, they will
Mm-hmm.
start raising hell
And
and gathering against the
mhm.
forge.
Right.
So, so that was one thing which was worrying me. But my boys were excellent. The teamwork was very good. It was a clockwork precision that
Wow.
we went in, and the moment he stepped down from the bus, we immediately caught hold of him, and even before he
Wow.
could realize, we vanished with him to our
Wow.
post. And then we had a huge cache of arms and ammunition recovered from him. So
Okay.
that was one thing which I realized, that the teamwork. See, out of this, the lessons what can be drawn is, one is a disciplined move, then
Right.
appropriate level of training,
Right.
okay, and tough training for
Right.
that. Unless the training is tough, you can't have such clockwork precision working.
Agreed. Agreed.
And
Agreed.
most important was the teamwork. It was not only one team, it was multiple teams
Multiple
working
things.
for the same purpose and cause.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So that could have only been possible because of the teamwork and the training which we had done over a period of time.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So, and the camaraderie that we carry amongst us. Okay. So, and most important part of any army person is the loyalty factor. Okay, unless you have the loyalty of your men, you can't bank on their performance like this.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So I was blessed that I had earned that loyalty over the years. Yeah.
Right. Right.
So
Wow.
that, and you know what? These things, when we translate into the corporate world, because now
Mm-hmm.
I am an entrepreneur and
Right.
I'm running my own security agency.
Mm-hmm.
So at times I go and visit my men. I pep up them, and I visit them. I ask them about their welfare and keep their morale up so that they perform well with the PSUs. And the
Agreed.
PSUs don't have any complaint regarding my agency. So the things which have been taught to me by the army, they have come very handy for me to in this transitory period. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. And if you go a little ahead, you see all these corporates which are there, the defense corporates which are there, which have come up in the last couple of years,
Right.
the indigenous companies which have come up, like the Bell was working since long, I'm sure.
Mhm, mhm.
And I've
Right.
worked with the people in Bell also,
Okay.
because since I was a air defense gunner, so we had radars, and also the Bell team used to come. They used
Okay.
to they were very good. They were very disciplined,
Right.
and this also translates into the corporate world. They too have, like, there's a Larsen and Toubro which has entered the defense field. They
Right.
are doing
Okay.
wonders. They are doing wonders. The Mahindra Defense, they are also doing wonders. They have a lot of R&D going on, and
Okay.
for that R&D, they are taking a lot of risks. If you draw a parallel, see, during my time in the valley, we had a risk to our lives, the risk to the lives of our men.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
here it is a different sort of risk. They are actually inducing a lot of finances into the research.
Into the research.
Yeah, and it's a productive, result oriented firm or a
Right.
corporate.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so there also the risk involved is quite a bit. It's huge,
Agreed.
huge.
Agreed. Agreed.
And for that, the similar traits like self-discipline or discipline, then the camaraderie, teamwork, they all will actually
Apply.
apply
Right.
to the template. And
Right.
I'm sure these companies which I named, a few of them which I named, there are quite a few. They are the HAL, the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited.
Right.
They are actually doing wonders these days.
Wow.
The Mazgaon Dock Shipping Corporation.
Okay.
They have manufactured so many, and they have given Indian Navy a plethora of ships in a very short period nowadays.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So
Wonderful, sir.
yeah, so I think that these were the things which I could actually emphasize on and learn
Right.
from my experiences, and
Right.
I can see the parallels in today's corporate world also.
Corporate.
Yeah, in
Agreed.
defense
Agreed.
corporates.
Right, right, right. Wow. So that was really a remarkable account, Colonel Kekre. And what stands out most to me is your portrayal of leadership, not as a flawless formula, but something that emerges through uncertainty and perseverance.
Yeah,
And also, it is deeply human perspective, the
yeah,
one that resonates across contexts, whether it's in a boardroom or startup or leading a small team. So,
yeah,
thank you for sharing your views with us.
yeah.
So, after 3 decades in uniform, you chose entrepreneurship, starting your own security agency. That's a leap many veterans hesitate to take. What gave you the courage to reinvent yourself in business? And what parallels did you see between leading a battalion and leading a company?
That's a wonderful question, Charu, and it is really interesting one, because the transition from a soldier to an entrepreneur really it demands quite a lot.
Okay.
Having served in the Indian Army for more than 3 decades, um, I, in my rank, would have retired much earlier than though my civil counterparts. Okay, so there's one good opportunity which the DGR, that is the Directorate General of Resettlement, gives us
Right.
to choose entrepreneurship as you retire. So,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, to choose entrepreneurship, and they give a plethora of choices. Something
Mm-hmm.
like they give sponsored DGR sponsored petrol pumps. They give
Yeah.
DGR sponsored gas agencies.
Okay.
So one of those choices was security agency, and I chose a security agency basically because I've always been working in a manpower intensive environment,
Right. Right.
and human resource management has been very close to our functioning in the
Right.
armed forces.
Right.
So that was one thing which I found that I could it'll make my sailing during my entrepreneurship
Little easier. Hmm.
a little easier. So and that helped me too in
Agreed.
doing that. And
Hmm.
in the battalion, like you said, that in a battalion, in the Indian Army battalion, we handle so many things for men. We
Right.
had we handle their training, we handle their leave part, we handle their welfare, we handle their ordnance part. That is the clothing part, their
Right.
uniforms, issue of uniforms, the life cycle, and last but not the least, their food and
Logic. Hmm.
logistic part. So, having said that, similar kind of thing I would have been doing, or I am right now doing as an entrepreneur, looking
Right.
after my men in a security agency and
Right.
providing best of the services to the PSUs to whom I have provided security services.
Secure. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, more so encouraging the men to have camaraderie and togetherness and imparting them good training in the breaks which I get, uh,
Right.
so that they perform well, and inculcating discipline in them even after they retire. They would have retired from some service. So I we have to employ a few veterans also, as also a few
Civilians.
civilian
Okay.
guards.
Hmm.
So to enmesh them into a team, because both have very different
Very
traits.
different. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Agreed.
So
Agreed.
it is a task in itself.
Right.
So to ensure that, my 30 years plus experience gave me enough leverage to handle these things.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I also believe that, you coming from army background gives you an edge over someone who's not from that background running a security company.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's a plus point for you, sir. And
yes,
this is a powerful story of reinvention. What resonates most with me is your insight that leadership does not end with the uniform. It
yeah,
simply takes on a new form.
yes,
And
yes.
the courage to begin again is every bit inspiring as the service that came before it. So thank you
Thank
so
you,
much for that, sir.
thank you.
So at the Army War College, you spent years training others in information warfare, something we now see play out in daily fake news, cyber threats, and even corporate reputations online. What's one lesson from military information warfare that businesses should urgently adopt today?
See, today the world is a global village, Charu,
Right. Right.
isn't it? So
Yes.
the boundaries on the map and the boundaries on ground are only have a semblance to give belongingness to the citizens out there. But today the netizens have no boundaries.
Agreed.
Okay,
Agreed.
and the cyber threat looms at large,
Mhm.
to everybody, even for an individual. It is not only the
Right.
corporates, or it is not only the
Right.
military. It is also for the individuals, because
Right.
cyber attacks and what you call hacking of accounts is what is a concern for every man
Mm.
and every person in the world.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so we have moved ahead in the information technology field to a great extent, and AI has started taking over,
Right.
artificial intelligence. Okay,
Right.
so from that point of view, cyber security, adhering to cyber security is of utmost importance. That is what a lesson which can be drawn from a military parallel to the corporate world. Okay.
Right.
Now, if you see in the a few years behind the line, the Radia tape, what was the name? Radia, of against Ratan Tata, that the tape.
Right.
Okay, that had come out in open. That was
Right.
a form of misinformation. Okay,
Mhm.
and information warfare is all about misinformation, disinformation, information suiting your own interests, suiting
Right.
the interests of particular nation or a
Mhm.
particular corporate.
Right,
Okay.
right.
So by whatever means you can do that, including cyber capabilities,
Mhm.
including AI, including information technology. The latest was the Hindenburg report against the
Right.
Adani group,
Agree.
okay,
Right.
which proved to be wrong, or which was shunned by the Supreme Court.
Right.
And basically because it had no substance, and he had short stakes in whatever the Hindenburg agency research team did. They had
Right.
their own interests, and
Uh,
certain interests which were against our own indigenous companies. Okay,
companies.
so somebody having their own interest against the establishments, against the corporate, particular corporate who is competing, so they have to be very, very vigilant on the cyber security part. As
Right.
also nowadays, with the AI coming in, AI factoring in, they have to be quite vigilant on the development of artificial intelligence, and which affects the corporate functioning on day-to-day basis.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Wow, sir. So that was a remarkably timed insight, and I greatly appreciate the way you've drawn a connection between the battlefield and the boardroom. It powerfully reframes information as a strategic asset, not merely a headline.
yeah,
So thank you for sharing that with us. All right, Colonel Kekre, we've spoken
yeah.
about discipline, governance, and leadership. But now it's time to loosen up a bit. Quick rapid fire round, short,
Wonderful.
fun, and no overthinking. Ready?
Okay, okay.
Okay,
That will be
so
interesting, in fact.
yes, absolutely. This is one of
Yeah.
my favorite parts of the interview.
Okay.
All right. What's one army habit you still can't get rid of even today?
Oh, getting up early. I wake up sharp at 5 o'clock. My wife puts an alarm of 5 o'clock, but even before 5 o'clock, I get up and shut down the alarm.
Your body clock wakes you up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that is one
Okay,
habit. Ah,
absolutely right. So, tea, coffee, or the good old army mess chai?
anytime the good old army mess chai.
Okay, if your soldiers had to describe you in one word, what do you think they'd pick?
Dependable.
Wow, that's a nice compliment to get, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, a book that has been on your bedside table the longest.
It's a very small book, Jonathan Livingston Seagull by Richard
Okay,
Bach.
okay, nice. I'm gonna read that one.
Yeah.
What's your guilty pleasure snack when no one's watching?
Cadbury's.
Ah, wonderful. Okay, if you
Chocolate,
had,
you can say.
okay, chocolate ones. All
Yeah.
right, that's interesting. Okay, the next one. If you had to pick a Bollywood or a Hollywood actor to play you in a movie, who would that be?
Oh, so in Bollywood, it would be Shah Rukh.
Ah!
Yeah.
Wow, wonderful. Okay, next one. Discipline or improvisation? Which side wins when you're off duty?
Uh, Discipline makes improvisation easier.
Wow, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, if you could swap places with any global leader for one day, who would that be?
Narendra Modi.
Ah, wonderful, sir. That was really wonderful round. It actually gets to know you as a person, what you are as a
Yeah.
person. So thank you for sharing your answers
Yeah.
with us.
Yeah. You're welcome.
We've seen time and again how quickly trust can collapse when governance is ignored. Whether it's corporate scandals or even scams targeting defense personnel through fake investments and impersonation. You managed HR, policies, and accounts at brigade level, where accountability wasn't optional, it was life or death. In your view, what can today's leaders do to build cultures where ethics and transparency are non negotiable, even under growth pressure?
Yeah. That's a quite a interesting question, Charu. And See, at the brigade level, when I was a staff officer to one of the commanders,
Mm-hmm.
uh, at that point of time, I had to handle quite a few things: the financial management part and the logistic part.
Right.
Okay, and uh, the morale of the men in the units affiliated to the brigade.
Right.
So the provisioning of logistics was a big thing,
Right.
and it was
Right.
on quite a large scale that we had to ensure and to fight a battle or to fight a situation.
Mm-hmm.
Logistics plays a big part.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
and while it comes to logistics, morals and ethics also play a very big part.
Agree.
Okay, so ensuring that there is no pilferage, ensuring that there is accountability at the grassroots level, where
Right.
the logistic actually percolates to the person who issues the things.
Right.
Okay, so instilling that sense of ownership into the person so that he ensures that even the last man and the last person gets his due,
You.
and so that he can fight well. Okay, so those are the things which needed to be ensured at that point of time.
Right.
So
Right.
I suppose a similar aspect would be applicable even in the governance of corporate sector.
Agreed.
Okay,
Agreed.
because percolation of non-ethical habits or non-ethical performances is
Mm-hmm.
very easy, is the
Right.
easiest thing that can happen.
Right.
And in corporate sector, financial impropriety may lead to lot of losses, big
Right.
losses.
Mm-hmm.
So, to ensure financial propriety, ethical values have to be instilled into the staff, and responsible behavior as far as handling the finances needs to be ensured.
Right.
So I think those were the things which I ensured during my tenure with the brigade, in the men who were handling all these things.
Mm-hmm.
And I suppose the same similar things would carry on and apply to the corporate sector and the corporate
Agreed.
companies, wherein
Agreed.
wherein they deal in profits and losses. Okay, in the armed forces, it is not profits and losses; it is life and death.
Life and death.
Yeah.
Right.
So that translates to profits and losses in the corporate sector.
Agreed. Agreed.
So from that point of view, those aspects are equally important to the corporate world, and
Right.
they apply equally well.
Right. Right.
I hope I have done justice to the question.
Absolutely, sir. And you know what you just said is refreshingly insightful perspective on governance. And I truly appreciate how you emphasize that not it's not merely about compliance, but Colonel Kekre, after 3 decades of service to the nation and now successfully running your own security enterprise, you've seen leadership from both the battlefield and the boardroom. At this stage of your journey, what inspired you to join Directors Institute? And has the experience sharpened the way you think about governance and future ready leadership?
That's quite interesting, Charu. And in fact, it was quite when I used to actually see the advertisements of
Okay.
Directors Institute,
Mhm.
and I used to wonder as to why and how they are molding the
Right.
directors,
Right.
independent directors and the directors. So I always wanted to be there in the boardroom after
Mm-hmm.
having served in the army for more than 3 decades and then come on to entrepreneurship. I used to wonder as to why there are certain mm, glitches and cliches in a few corporates that we hear and
Right.
we read about. So I always wanted to be there to witness that and to share my experience and make them do better.
Right.
Okay, so when I read about the Directors Institute and when I got a call, I booked a call and I got a call, and thereafter I went through the presentation. And even I spoke to Mr. Heval Mehta.
Mm-hmm.
So that was quite insightful and encouraging, and I thought it prudent to join and gain knowledge about the profession.
Right.
Okay, and what better it would have been than joining one of the world's best organizations. Okay, and instead of restricting myself to one of the universities here or one of the colleges here,
Right.
this was a better option for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that thought at the back of my mind, I ventured into it and I plunged myself into learning a few
Learning.
traits for directorship.
Wow,
And
wow.
see, one thing which I firmly believe in, that there is no age bar for
Learning.
acquiring education.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so that always is at the back of my mind. And
Right.
when I venture into, like, I am doing my research also
Mm-hmm.
simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the guideline for me, and that propels me to gain knowledge and
Right.
give some better experiences to the society around.
Right. Wow.
Yeah,
Wonderful, sir. And it's so inspiring. I greatly admire how you've conveyed that joining the Directors Institute was not about the titles, but purposefully preparing for the next chapter of leadership.
yeah,
And it's
yeah,
really inspiring that, as you said, that you still looking forward to learning new things and enhancing
yeah.
your knowledge about things that are happening and the directorship. So that is wonderful and so inspiring. So thank you so much for sharing that with us.
You're welcome, Charo, and it is great talking to you.
Absolutely. So, Colonel Kekre, thank you so much for joining us today. What stood out in this conversation is how your journey shows that leadership is not a title, it is a responsibility. From serving into front lines to training future soldiers, from pioneering information warfare courses to now shaping corporate governance and security. You've reminded us that discipline, trust, and continuous learning are the real currencies of leadership.
Thank you, Charo. Thank you.
To our listeners, I hope this episode sparks a reflection for you, whether you're leading a startup, managing a team, or building your own career. Because the lessons Colonel Kekre shared about resilience, ethics, and adaptability apply far beyond the battlefield. This has been FaceTime with Leaders, powered by Directors Institute World Council of Directors. If today's conversation inspired you, share it with a colleague, a friend, or even someone just starting out. Because leadership is about passing the torch forward. Until next time, keep learning, keep leading, and stay future ready. Thank you.